So it's going to get a little bit loud up there. So before I head up and show you John cutting the fields, the basic philosophy we have here is, number one, all of our fields is biodiversity. We want all kinds of different things growing up there, but at the same time, we want them compatible. What does that mean? So I don't necessarily want a plant that's going to be 4 feet tall when I've got clover that's 8 to 10 inches. So I'm trying to plant things height-wise that are similar, that will allow the plants to get sunlight. So up here, a lot of clover and purple top turnip. My cereal rye that I planted last fall keeps wanting to come up and overtake. That's why we're cutting these fields. We want to get the cereal rye down to the mature clover height and let that clover and the turnip go. So while I love cereal rye, it can be a little bit of competition for these plants up here. Now the deer are in here every single night. They're absolutely loaded in here. In the summertime, we will actually pump pond water up to our fields 450 feet. The whole place, I have 6 feeders that we maintain all the time. And just so you know, our philosophy here is this is a 40-acre property. And if anybody tells you that you need to start worrying about your buck to doe ratio on property that's like 20 to 100 acres, you need to just shut them out and not listen. There's no reason to implement a buck to doe ratio on a small property like that. Our philosophy for over 30 years has been the same, and it's worked. The more does I have on my property, I will have more does come into estrus cycles multiple times, and the more bucks I have on my property. I will count 20 to 60 bucks every night up in these fields. People think that number is high, and it's not. I've got pictures of 4, 8 to 10 points side by side in that one field he's up there cutting right now. And matter of fact, there's a little baby fawn in front of him. I mean, it's just absolutely loaded up there. So if you have 1,000 acres or 4,000 acres and you have a big game ranch, yes, having a buck to doe ratio and controlling that population is a smart thing, obviously, but not for us. I want as many does as possible. I want as many girls, because it's kind of like girls' night at a bar. What attracts the guys? What attracts the guys are the does. I want as many does as possible. We do not harvest does out here. We took only 2 bucks off this whole property last year. I took that monster buck that was up in the field, beautiful, crazy looking buck. Probably a buck of my lifetime up here, and that plus 1 other meat buck that we took. And that was pretty much it. We'll have babies. I'll be sitting out here cutting the grass. I'll have the babies out here. The moms hide them over here. They hide them over here. We'll be up in the garden. We'll be talking to all the baby deer. Love to have the babies. So anyways, that's our philosophy. I've used it for years. Again, buck to doe ratio and game management when it comes to harvesting does is just not smart on a small property. You can do what you want. So before we turn this motor on, let me show you the modifications I've made. This is a DR Pro 44T. And the modifications I made is, I think it's the rear wheels or the front come pneumatic. They already went flat. So I bought the solid plastic tires and got rid of the pneumatic. Next, I got rid of the big bar. There's another big 10-foot bar that lets you offset and cut close to the fields, which we don't need. And it causes you a pain in the butt because you end up having to really swing wide to time that corner. So I tied directly into this little post. My actual solenoid, starter solenoid, went bad last month, and they wanted $180 for that solenoid and the wiring harness. And I was like, dude, it's a $20 part. So I Googled it, and I went and I looked, and I found one at AutoZone that looked exactly like it for 22 bucks. And so I bought it, I put it on it, and now it starts up fine. What other modifications? I think that's it. So we cut it, we have the UTV in low gear, and then we cut it at about 2.5 miles per hour, somewhere in there. 2.3 to 2.5. And I have it tall because what we're doing is we're cutting down this ryegrass, but at the same time, I don't want to get into the adult clover. I want this clover to be coming up. See, the problem is I let it get too tall because I didn't want to mess with my neck issue. Doctor doesn't want me on doing this kind of stuff. So I kept putting off training John, and I should have done it sooner. So, but anyways, there, look, you can see the difference. This is amazing. Right here, I'm standing here. stuff is over 2 feet tall. So this is this is an area we call the bald spot. It was naturally here, and we plant clover, turnips, cereal rye, but you can see you can see just how tall this has gotten over the past couple months. We finally got some rain, and I mean that's almost waist high. So we're coming through here and cutting this. John just cut the area around the feeder with the weed eater, but down here, and we're returning all this organic matter to the soil. So believe it or not, our soil becomes pretty rich here just by doing that. It's regenerative. So it grows, we cut it. It grows, we cut it. And we get a nice dark brown soil here where everywhere else is gray. But down here, you can see the redneck skyscraper down there. That's to the roof is about 20 feet tall. And then there's a lane down there too, and we have a ton of deer down that thick area. But this is crazy in here. Again, we have no irrigation up here, so we sort of base our cuttings on the weather. Summertime, I'll let this get pretty tall to shade out the soil, but right now it's cool, we're getting some rain, and what we're doing is we're returning all of this to the soil. Again, that's regenerative. Let it grow, cut it. It's like if you had cows. You'd put your cows out here, let them eat it down, and then move them to another pasture. They go poo on here. I mean, it's that whole cycle, that regenerative cycle that we want. All this stuff was almost 36 inches, 3 feet. It's almost 3 feet tall. Man, that's just a beautiful little feeding area for them. This is such a heavy traffic spot. I got a cell camera over there, feeder here. Did you feed, you've loaded this one? So this one should be. This one puts off a lot of corn. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It hurts. Man, that looks good, doesn't it? We just finished cutting this with a reel mower, but a lot of people are going to ask, okay, Doc, well, what are you planting? So a lot of my stuff I actually get on Amazon. So I'm going to plant white Dutch clover. I'll buy anywhere from 5 to 10 pound bags of it. Purple top turnip, get it on Amazon. You can get 5, 10, 25 pound bags. Cereal rye, I don't plant my cereal rye until the late fall. It's more of a winter crop. I put out the cereal rye in the winter time. And really that's the main thing that I plant. Some brassica, but it's clover and turnip. Those are the two things, and brassica. Those are the three main things that I plant up there. I find that those broadleaf, greeny kind of plants are really what the deer are in there to really like. And it's very heat tolerant, it's very drought tolerant, and it'll last all winter long. So all winter, I'm gonna have clover up there. And we got down to the teens this year, easy. I had tons of green clover. I had purple top turnip. I had purple top turnips that were bigger than softballs, just thousands and thousands of them up there. It's not so much the deer eat the turnips, but man, they just keep producing greens and producing greens. And again, you have to understand regenerative, what that term means. It means that when a plant grows, it creates life in the soil. When you cut it, it has to restart, and all that organic matter goes back to the soil. And that cycle, we're up here in the springtime where we're doing regenerative cutting every week or every 2 weeks, we're returning all that organic matter back down to the soil, I really don't even have to worry about pH testing. I don't really have to worry about fertilizer. The only thing we've done to our fields, I did a video on subsoiling. It's a hook that goes down to the hard pan clay surface. You can't even tell. We never till, never plow. Don't ever plow your fields. Just go down, get a subsoiler hitch if you have a tractor, run a subsoiler about every 36 inches, break up that hard pan. And then we did have a guy come in with a truck, and we put 17,000 pounds of lime up on those fields with a truck, a spreader, one time, and that's it. Now we just let nature take its course, and the fields are absolutely gorgeous. Deer are packed in there.
I go straight from the bank, gassing up the tank, cranking up the radio, playing old Hank, and it ain't that long till I'm back at the pond. I'm pulling up the truck down at the dock. It's time to do some cruising, baby, get a little stuck. It's a Saturday joyride, Percy Beach is the spot to take the blues away. We're on a boat, we're feeling fine, drinking Tennessee whiskey, a big blue sky. We're going up, we're coming down. There's a party on the water, it's a hell of a time. We're on a boat, we're killing time, in our own honky tonk with a bottle of wine. We're going up, we're coming down. Cheers to feeling alright, it's a hell of a time. A hell of a time. Yeah, we're chilling out here, ladies in the rear, our feet in the water, our top disappears, drinking Malibu Patron or a beer in a cup. Girl, I can hook you up. We all get to dance and I get to chancing, kissing that country girl, romancing, a whole lot of love, bumping out of the bars. Yeah, we're on a boat, we're feeling fine, drinking Tennessee whiskey, a big blue sky. We're going up, we're coming down. Here's the feeling alright, it's a hell of a time. We're on a boat, we're killing time, in our own honky tonk, meet the big blue sky. We live it up, we got it down. Here's the feeling alright.
So the other day, actually a couple of weeks ago, I had a skid steer here, and on all the back sides of all these fields, I raked it with teeth. So I didn't plow it, I just raked up the soil. We threw down sunflower seeds, a little bit of corn seed, what else? And wildflower seeds, and there was something else. But now that we got some rain, this looks like almost all the sunflower and the wildflower seeds are coming up. I'm just looking to see if I can see any corn. Yep. Okay, so here's the corn coming up. These are the sunflowers. And then I got wildflower too. I'm pretty sure the deer will come in here and start destroying all this, but there is a chance that some of this will survive. And man, how cool would it be to have all the back sides of your fields in corn and sunflowers? It would be gorgeous. That's my hope, but I just know that the deer are probably just gonna come in here and ravage this stuff. That's pretty cool. So, just so you know, the buck that I shot up here, the big monster buck, he actually came in. They actually come in right in through this area from across the road. I have tons of bucks come in from across that area over here. They'll come in here and they'll hit this upper field, and then they'll move down over in here. But I shot him right there, 185 yards from my stand over here. And the only reason I got him is because we had thunderstorms the night before, and it delayed his movement, and at 7:10, 7:12, he was up here with a doe. One shot I had. And he ran this way, ran through here, and was actually lying near my driveway over there. Buck of a lifetime. Fred's down there. He's probably gonna fly off. Ready? Stop eating my fish, Fred. Into the mist. Isn't that cool? So we had a bunch of rain move in, And now it's actually chilly out here a little bit, but man, that pond looks amazing. So everything we do here is basically set. 90% of this whole property is set up for the wildlife, whether it's the turkeys, the deer. I have tons of wood ducks down here now. I have blue herons, the fish. We take care of the pond. But as far as regenerative farming goes, so many people think that you need to get on a tractor and start tearing up fields and plowing fields. And I'm telling you, Google the term regenerative farming and you'll understand that naturally nature will take care of yourself. If you concentrate on biodiversity and returning a lot of that organic matter, the only thing you may have to do, like I said, if you could find someone with a tractor, run a subsoiler every 36 inches, put down some lime, adjust your pH. You don't have to put down any fertilizers. Don't worry about the fertilizers. Just plant a biodiverse mix. And clover is nitrogen fixing, of course. It doesn't add nitrogen to the soil. What it does is it converts nitrogen into a usable form. Some people claim that it adds nitrogen. That's not what it does. But clover is such a permanent source. It's great shade cover for your soil, keeps it from drying out. I put clover everywhere on this property, just about everywhere. Even over here, that looks like a lawn over there, and that's a mix of fescues, rye, and clovers over there. That's a ton of clover. You can see little white flowers maybe over there. And the deer actually come in here, and I'll have babies over in here. So every square inch of your property, I want you to think about, is there something I could do with every corner, every square inch, especially on smaller properties? But again, regenerative. If you can get a cutter, even if it's a bush, pay someone to bush hog, go in and cut those fields down and cut those fields down. Now, in the drought, you probably don't want to cut down, but during that springtime or right after a rain, that's when you want to get in there and cut and return that stuff down to the ground. Anyways, hope this video's helped. Thought I'd give you some tips. People have been asking about it, so there you go. Doc.